Hi everyone, this is Tanya Gibbs from Psycho Mom Scrapbooks and More, and today I want to show you this little mini that I made, and it was inspired by this animal cookie box. So I decided to make the animal cookie box the storage place for my little mini album. On the cover, what I did was on the outside of the box, I took some sandpaper and sanded the outside of the box, and then went over it with the Tim Holtz Distressing walnut ink to just kind of make it look dirty and grungy. And I did it on every side of the box. I mean, the box was shiny because it was new and I didn't want that. So then I replaced the handle that was on the box with this gold rickrack that I found sometime during the holidays. And then when I think circus, I think feathers and jewels and lots of bling and fringe and just real gaudy gypsy looking kind of outfits. So I decided to add feathers to the outside of my box just to dress it up a little bit. And then I took this Gerber daisy, that's a silk Gerber daisy, and I folded it in half. Oh, I have a little piece of... Folded it in half and then added this button to the side of it, and then this little rhinestone, which is really a giant rhinestone. But to me, this looks like the headdress of one of the performers in the circus. So I really thought that added some fun, something fun to the front of the box. Then when you open it up, there is lots in here. You can see the little books that nestles right down inside of there. And of course I named it Life Is A Circus. Now the words Life Is A Circus, I actually designed that in Design Studio, and then I cut it out with my Cricut. And this is what I did. On this is a piece of acrylic, and it's pretty thick, as you can tell. I cut this out of the Cricut, the shape, and what I did was I found this acrylic at Hobby Lobby in the art section, and it was over where they do the stained glass supplies. I bought that and I took it over to Lowe's, and they cut it down to size for me, so it would be a little bit more manageable, probably about a 12 by 12. The original sheet was like 24 by 36. It was huge. So they cut it down for me for free. Don't forget to use your resources when you can. And then I came home and just took a pair of heavy-duty scissors and cut it down further so that I could put this on my Cricut. And I had to cut it like 10 times, and then I had to take it off the mat, flip it upside down, do it again from the other side, because the Cricut will not actually cut all the way through the acrylic. You have to flip it upside down and do it again. And since it takes so many times for you to, so many multi-cuts to get it to cut out, I decided to go ahead and do this effect of etched glass on the front, and I cut this design out that says Life Is A Circus. Then once I did it, it looked like frosted glass, and I really, you just cut it a couple of times to do the etched glass. Since it doesn't cut all the way through, it just kind of scratches the surface of it. And I thought it needed a little bit more depth, so I took a slick writer pen in black, and I just colored in the letters of Life Is A Circus. Do not use a Sharpie to do this, because Sharpies are not acid free, and the ink will actually cause the acrylic to yellow over time. So avoid Sharpies on your acrylic if you can. I bound this entire book together with the Bind It All, and I added all these little fibers and these little beads and things, because to me, a circus is about gypsy living, and gypsies always seem to have all these jewels and, just all this flair and fun stuff. So I added that. There's lots of fiber in here. This entire book was made from scraps. So nothing really matches in the whole book, but that kind of added to the gypsy feel, I think, too. This is a tag, and I just, it was just a regular luggage tag, and I just stamped it with some red ink, and I think the stamp set was an Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo, but I'm not certain of that, so don't hold me to it. And then on the inside here, I just duplicated the same thing here. And these little pieces of ribbon that you see here, all from the scrap pile. Then this is a piece of chipboard that I also cut out of the Cricut and added the pattern paper to the top, and this was just a little tiny piece of scrap that I had. So there's nothing else in the entire book that matches it, but that was kind of what this book was about. And then over here, this is a binder clip, a mini binder clip that came from the office supply store. And it's holding down this little accordion fold out piece. And it goes both ways. So I can add photographs and journaling to the inside of that. And then I use the binder clip to kind of keep it onto the, keep it closed. And then this balloon was cut from the George cartridge. On this side, the same binder clip is holding this little piece of scrap together. And then this is a punch from Martha Stewart. And you can tell I was not super neat with this. I wanted it to look dirty and grungy. So I didn't care. And this paper was a mustard colored and it was awful. And I honestly thought I was never going to use it. But it actually turned out great for this little book. Now on some of my pages you'll notice that they're not the same size all the way through. The base of the book this is 4 inches, I think, by 2 inches or 2.5, maybe 2.5 inches. I don't know, don't hold me to it. But if you decide to make one of these, I cut out 4 pieces of chipboard and then covered them, but then I added to it little cutouts like these little tags and stuff like this. I cut these out separate, and as you can tell, they are not the same width as the book. So when I used my bind it all, some of them I cheated the top and some of them I cheated the bottom, so they would stay weighted throughout the book at the same weight. You'll see what I mean as I move through this. Just pay attention to how it's bound. But see, like on this one, I had the tag come down to the bottom instead of up all the way up to the top. So on the other one, it was all the way up the top, not the bottom. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, to keep consistency, since I was using so many scraps that were different, I made sure that all of my chipboard was covered with the exact same pattern paper, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then a solid color was added to the back. And on the solid colors, I went ahead and stamped with that same red stamp that I stamped the tags with. I stamped that same image, as you can see here on the orange, just to kind of give it a tone on tone, and I distressed everything with the walnut ink. And on this one, this is just a pocket that I created, and I used that border to give it a deco edge, the Martha Stewart border. And all of my tags are distressed exactly the same, the little mini tags. They're all purple and mustard, and then they have the walnut around the edges, and then they have all this fiber hanging out. I wanted these mounted sideways because I thought that that would give a little more fluff to the side of the book, because inside that box there's not a lot of room at the top. And then this is just a little silk flower with a button, and every single page has been glimmer misted, so there's lots of sparkle in this book. I know it's hard to tell on video, but everything has been glimmer misted. And then here you can tell I put this one up towards the top, and this is just a little journal block area. When I do these little pieces of scrap like this, I always try to pull up one of the corners so that people understand that they need to lift that to look underneath. And then a little tiny picture could go here. My niece has been playing with this book for the last 4 months, so I haven't had a chance to add pictures to it, and I may actually end up just putting pictures of her in it and giving it back to her. But I really love this book. But the paper that I selected for my main paper has a bunch of little baby animals, and it was actually baby paper. And they went good with the circus theme. There's elephants and lions on it, and so I just kind of use something that maybe it wasn't its intended purpose, but I thought it went well with this book. And then on the inside here, I have another little pocket with another tag. Lots of bling everywhere. Same thing over here, and you can tell even though the fibers are not quite the same as they are on this other tag, they still work, and because it pulls in all the colors from the gypsy type theme. And then this one has a little lion on the corner of it, but it's all the same paper. And that's my little mini book. Thank you for looking. Now, ideas for this. When I taught this class, I had a lady who did not want to use the circus theme, but she loved the idea of having the box to hold the little mini book in. So she actually covered her box with paper. She took the box completely apart with an X-Acto knife and covered it with paper, and then put it all back together, and then she made her book match her box. So that's another idea. And also, my daughter, I make a lot of these little mini books out of my scraps and things. I never fill them up. My daughter will grab them off the shelf and take them to a birthday party with her. They're great for teenage birthday party gifts. I firmly believe in doing that because teenagers are always wanting to write stuff down about their memories, and they're always got little cell phone cameras. And these books are so tiny that cell phone pictures are actually perfect for this type of book. Anyway, thank you for looking, and I hope you enjoyed my little mini.